everyone, and welcome to another episode of It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
And we are getting very excited.
Very excited.
Are you so excited?
I am so excited.
So today was your last day of work, right?
It was.
Well, not last day, but...
Last day before vacation.
Yeah. So we are getting ready ourselves to go on a Walt Disney World vacation. And what makes this one even more special than all the other ones that we've been on is that we are bringing our son for the first time, and he is 10 months old.
We are all so excited about this. Like, there was a Disney vlogger who will remain nameless because, I don't know, it kind of fell off the board a little bit, but he would use the expression waves of Disney. And the premise of it was you would get hit with these like waves of like just pure joy and happiness as you were prepping for your Disney vacation.
Like as if you were there already. Like you were already getting the magic.
Right. And like today I was driving home from work and like that was that first like wave of like, wow.
We're going.
Work is done. You know, within the next 48 hours, we're going to be on a plane heading to the most magical place on earth.
And Mark likes to do this thing where I don't know if I like it or I hate it because he does this thing where it's like, oh, this time next week we'll be doing this. So I think it was yesterday, this time next week we'll be on the balcony at Animal Kingdom, like drinking our coffee and looking at the animals. But then he also does it when we come back, and he'll say, last week at this time we were doing this. Like,
it's always more fun thinking about what we're going to do rather than talking about what we did.
Yeah, but you like to say both, and
over.
I like
do.
the like looking forward to. But so
next week at this time we'll be at the Beach Club Resort.
We will be. Yeah, so if they don't know, but we are doing a split stay. So in Disney lingo or just resort vacation lingo, that just means we're staying at two different resorts for the same stay. So we are staying for 2 nights at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and we do have a Savannah room, and we are DVC members.
Disney's Animal Kingdom Jumbo House.
The Jumbo House, yes.
Because there is two different
specifically,
sections.
we are in the Jumbo House this time. And then
after those 2 nights,
we go over to the Yacht and Beach Club. Beach Club specifically, we're staying at the Beach Club DVC Villas for the remainder of our trip, and we have more family meeting us down there. So let's jump into what we're talking about since we are preparing.
We are surrounded by clothes and suitcases and just pure mayhem.
It's a little chaotic right now.
It always is.
And I think everyone can, sympathize with
us but we'll
when
pull
it comes
together.
to packing.
We still have time.
We will. We have time. But what makes this so different is, like I said before, is we're bringing our son with us. So we have never traveled with a kid because this is our first child. But even when we have traveled with children, they haven't been our own. So we haven't had to think about those types of situations that you might get into. So I kind of made a list, and some things may seem excessive to Mark, but I don't think they are. But we're going to go over this list, and it's going to be different for every family. How many kids, their ages, all of that stuff. So I think him being almost 1 makes it a little harder because we're not quite in toddler years. So he might need some extra accessories. So we wanted to make sure that we got all of those in there. So the first thing we thought of,
and before we kind of we plan on this being a 2-parter, if you will. Like, we're filming this part now before our trip, and when we get back, we're going to have another episode where we talk about what we packed and whether or not we did a good job or not. Did we succeed or did we fail? What did we forget? Did we overpack? Did we underpack? And I think it may be helpful to just kind of tell everyone, not in great detail, but kind of where Luke, our son, is at this point. You know, because he is kind of in a transition stage
right,
here
and
where
that's
he's
what's
not
hard.
like a total infant of like
but
fresh
he's not
out
quite
of the
toddler,
womb.
which is what I was saying. Like, he's not quite full toddler.
Right.
You know, like eating full meals like on his own, like
Right.
type of thing. But he's also not walking on his own.
He's eating human food, but he's not eating it necessarily in the way that
human
a toddler
food.
would.
You mean like adult food?
Well, yeah, he's not like solely drinking breast milk and formula or anything like that. Like, he's actually like eating food, but it's usually in the form of pureed food.
Yeah.
Not
or very small chopped up things.
Right. Not sitting down and like eating like
chicken
an
nuggets
adult
and,
meal.
Yeah,
right.
French fries. Right, exactly. And we'll go into this especially when we come back, but our son unfortunately does have a nut allergy to peanuts. So I know there's a lot of families out there that can that feel the pain of the worry and you know that goes in with that. So
and I will say Disney is very good with that, and we can do a whole episode just on going to Disney World with an allergy or a sensitivity or whatever the heck they call these things nowadays with like gluten, dairy, and all that
all
stuff.
kinds
like,
of stuff.
Disney is very good with that stuff, and we can talk a little bit about that in its own episode.
Yeah, but it's just good to preface that because with meals and stuff, I think I'm going to be a little more cautious about things than maybe you typically would if you didn't have any allergies. But
and like we're packing an EpiPen whether we want to or not. Not every family's going to have to pack an
right,
EpiPen,
like that's on our list.
We're going to have to pack an EpiPen.
So the first thing I actually thought of before the allergy thing was
good old epinephrine, man.
how we're going to give him a bath. So again, this is going to be different for where you're staying and knowing your room and all that kind of stuff. But we're at the beach club and we have a 2-bedroom villa and we do have a tub. It's separate from the shower. We have our own tub that we will have for him. Now we are traveling via airplane. So to bring a whole bath seat for him because he's still slipping and sliding and he can sit up on his own, but he does have a bath seat to sit in and it is a pretty deep tub. So
flying can really limit you versus driving with what you can bring. You have a car, you can pack as much as you want into that car.
I'm sure if we were driving, we would pack the bath seat, like no doubt about it.
But you just can't when you're flying.
Yeah.
Well, you could, but it'd be very complicated, and you have to check things, and it'd be a mess. So it's not worth it.
Yeah, not for us this time. It's not worth it. So we were like, okay, no bath seat. So one of us, probably me, I'll probably have to either go in there with him because if I remember correctly, it is a pretty deep tub.
They are deep tubs.
It has jets and stuff in it, so it's not.
And the Animal Kingdom room, I think, just has a shower tub combo.
Yeah, so that will be a little easier, but the beach club will be a little deeper. So we'll have to figure out something with me being in there with him or
holding him or something.
Yeah, something like that. But basically for baths, besides the seat, since we're not bringing it, I'm bringing my own face cloths. They have face cloths there. I just think that the ones there are kind of hard and they use like bleach and stuff, so they can be like kind of rough. And like his are like much more softer and like they're his, and so I don't know, that's just like a me thing. And his towels. We have some of those towels with like the little hoods on them, since he's not really that big yet, so he still has those kind of things. And we are lucky enough to have a washer and dryer in our room. So even with the washcloths and stuff, we are able to do laundry. So easily able to do laundry.
Like all the resorts obviously have laundry in them. You usually have to go to a specific place in order to do that.
Yeah.
The advantage to the DVC villas, especially 1-bedroom villas and up, deluxe studios don't have this. But usually 1-bedrooms and up usually always have a washer-dryer combo in the room itself.
Yeah.
Which makes everything so much easier. Like, you don't have to go and worry about waiting in line or putting money into the machine or anything like that. Like, it's just
waiting and then someone taking your
stuff. You pop
it
open, you can do as much laundry as you want, which also is a great advantage because you don't need to necessarily... We're going for a 10-day trip.
Yeah.
We don't need to pack 10 separate pairs of clothes.
And then extra on top of that,
the way that this kid goes through clothes, I got a little tangent here. Whenever I do laundry, now I do wear a uniform at work, so that like limits the amount of clothes that I go through in the course of a week.
Right.
but the amount of women and little boy clothes that I fold when I do laundry is absurd.
Do you feel
I do not understand.
Do you feel like you don't do your own laundry?
I don't really. Most of the laundry I do is all of your laundry. It's all your clothes and little person clothes. And I am amazed how a little person can go through so many darn clothes through the course of a week. It's absurd.
He gets messy. It's messy. He's learning to eat, somewhat on his own, and it gets really messy. But, all right, jump off your tangent for a second.
The washer and dryer in the room makes life a lot easier,
especially
for
with even just a
dirty
toddler.
little kid.
Yeah, who's going to get messy all the time.
Keep himself clean at all.
Obviously, next on the list, I have soaps and lotions for him that whatever he'll need as far as a bath goes, and we do have some toys that we're going to bring as far as bath toys because he does thoroughly enjoy the bath. He loves the water. So he does stay in there a little longer than maybe a typical kid who doesn't like it would. So we're going to bring some bath toys. So to kind of go with the whole bath thing, I have like a separate thing for toiletries as far as like more of like a diaper bag situation and like what we're going to need on hand like while we're going places. So I have the obvious. I have diapers. I have wipes. I have diaper cream. I have sunscreen. Do not forget your sunscreen when you're down there. Any time of year, wear your sunscreen.
Always. Skin protection #1, man.
Yeah, and our son is very light skinned.
Takes after you.
Me, very sensitive skin. So
doesn't have the good Portuguese skin.
I also have nail clippers on here, and I think like the baby ones, and I think this is more specific to me because his nails grow extremely fast, and I just feel like he's always scratching himself and me and you, us.
Yeah, he got me good on the neck tonight.
Yeah, so it just grows really fast. So I have those on there just in case he needs a little trim. Motrin or Tylenol, the infant kind. He is just getting over a little head cold, but he's feeling so much better, and we're glad that it was done before the trip. But having Motrin and Tylenol
and teething
and all that stuff. So definitely having Motrin and Tylenol is good to have. They do have some handy stuff down in like the marketplace for like the beach club or any of like the food court areas at the resorts. They'll have like a little travel section with like Benadryl.
Disney knows you're going to forget something.
Yeah, you're going to.
They're ready for it.
Or run out of something.
They want your money. So they are ready to
but
sell you whatever you forget.
But there's also no really easy convenience store to get to.
Right.
So that's kind of acts as its own little like convenience store.
It does, but you're going to spend a lot of money. I would not bank on that.
No,
whatever
I
you
wouldn't.
Can bring with you, even to get back to the laundry point that we made. If you're someone who uses the little Tide Pods, like throwing 4 or 5 of those in your suitcase. In a little plastic baggie. That way you got them, so that way when
they
you do
give
laundry,
you detergent, but like it's not a lot and it's not like great.
They do, but it's
you
got your stuff. It's easy to transport in that case if you use the Tide Pods. Like just pull a few out of your little container. Some dryer sheets inside of a plastic baggie. Like it keeps things
or maybe do like
simple.
a little Tupperware so they don't explode in your suitcase.
Right.
Kind of
right.
The pressure.
But happened before. Plastic
definitely
bags,
the next things on my list are like first aid stuff, Zyrtec. Obviously we have the allergy, so just having that on hand too. But they'll have all of your first aid stuff down there. It's obviously because of the convenience of it, just like at a convenience store. It is priced very high.
And you're going to get a blister, man, probably. Unless you normally walk upwards of 11 plus miles a day, and that's a norm for you, you are most likely going to get a blister somewhere on your foot. So to have the bandages...
Or if you've ever heard of moleskin, like at CVS, it's like a giant... You can cut it, however you want to.
It's almost like a big Band-Aid.
It's like a big Band-Aid, but it's felt like on one side, so it kind of just covers that whole area pre-blister.
Right.
So you're hoping
or even after you get the blister.
Even after, but if like you always blister in one area or something, then it's nice to have ahead of time. But they do have all that stuff.
Chances are you are going to get that, and so to be prepared and not have to pay Disney prices for that stuff, right? Yeah. There's a value with bringing that kind of stuff with you.
Yeah. No, there is. There really is. That was kind of it for like the toiletries as far as like the very, very important stuff that I didn't want to forget. I'm sure there will be more like we said in the other episodes, and I'm going to say either I really wish I had brought that or, whatever. But now with the clothes, I don't really plan as much. I really just pack as much as I think he's going to need. And again, with us having the washer and dryer, we don't have to pack an egregious amount of things, but he does go through a lot in one day. Mm-hmm. So just planning multiple outfits, even though you are going to wash, you still have a ton of extra stuff just in case. We're still in diapers. Blowouts can happen. Like, you just, as a parent, you just want to be prepared.
And that's something, too, like, when we talk about, like, and maybe this is an entirely different episode, I think it makes sense. What do you pack in your park bag? I think that, those things are good things to keep in mind when you're packing the bags that you're bringing with you to the park, especially with the little one, right? They have that change of clothes, plenty of diapers, plenty of wipes, all that kind of stuff in your park bag, so that way it's readily available and you're not in the middle of Magic Kingdom and the kid has just pooped his brains out and it's a mess everywhere and everybody, like, it's good to have a change of clothes. Good to have several change of clothes in the bag and ready to go.
Yeah, I do think that's every parent's nightmare, is to be in a public place like that and have that happen and just, I don't want to think about it. But yes, definitely a park bag episode could be beneficial. So I have your basic things, your shirts, your shorts, your tank tops, bathing suits. I tend to bring multiple because if one's wet, then one's dry, then one's drying, and you can switch. That's always nice to have. I do have, which people I think might seem a little weird because it's Florida, but I do have a sweatshirt and sweatpants, and I always bring that for myself too, and it's just because the resorts can be very cold in the room. So, like, especially if you were to get, like, a little burn or something, like, it can get very chilly in there.
If you are one of those weird people where air conditioning makes you cold.
It's freezing. Like, you're freezing.
It is good to bring a sweatshirt or something like that, just in case, because air conditioning in Disney World is very nice.
Oh, it is very nice, and it's very efficient, and it's very cold.
And it can be cold.
But if you just get cold very easily, then I definitely suggest bringing something like that.
And we're going in August, just to be clear, right? You don't need it outside. Like, there's no world in which you're going to need a sweatshirt outside. There are times of year, though, where I think people don't think that Florida gets kind of chilly.
Winter. They do have a winter season.
And if you're going in February or March, like, it's packing some pants and a sweatshirt or long sleeve shirts.
And we have made mistakes.
Very smart. Right. Don't just go with short sleeve shorts and shirts
you'll
and
be
shorts.
Chilly. You'll be chilly all night.
Because there's chances are that, like, especially at night when the sun goes down, you're going to regret that decision to not bring warmer clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. So that's it for clothes. I mean, I'm not as that crazy that I'm going to plan, like, each day ahead of time, but I do bring a range of outfits. Like, I do theme it kind of, but I think he's going to go through so many that I don't think at this point theming really matters. He does have my first Disney trip shirt that I definitely want him to wear in a picture, especially maybe if it's in front of the castle or, something like that. But, I have a range of themed clothing that he can wear. The next section is more of just general accessories and just objects to have. And I think this is probably
Who doesn't love accessories and objects?
Because I don't really know how to put them into a category. So it was like just general things that I think would be useful.
Sure.
So the first thing on the list is a high chair. Now, when I say high chair, I don't mean an actual big high chair. We found this thing on Amazon, and we can link it, like, in the description, and it's basically just rolls up, and it can fit on, hopefully, it said, practically any chair.
We'll see how this actually works.
Yeah, we'll see if it works, but it just goes on the chair itself, and he's just kind of strapped on. He can sit up by himself and has great head control and all of that, so I think he'll do fine with it. So, but we definitely were like, how are we going to feed him? How are we going to... In the room, specifically. High chairs are usually available at all of your dining.
Yeah, near restaurants, especially sit-down restaurants, there's
but
usually
like in the
always
middle of the
chairs.
park at a table or something, or in the room, it's like or at the pool. Where's he gonna go? So hopefully that works out for us. We're gonna bring some toys.
And it does roll up real nice. Like
it's
it'll
really
easily
small. It's
fit
very
into a backpack.
very travel
like,
friendly,
it's,
and I was surprised by the size of it. I thought it would be bigger, but it wasn't. So I'm happy about that. We're going to bring some toys, some smaller ones. He is very busy. And if you have kids this age, you know that they're very busy. They're always playing with something. So we are going to bring some, not a lot. Again, easy to put in the softer toys, easy to put in the suitcase, nothing too crazy. Dishes and bottles. So if you are in a villa or suite like we are, then they do have some dishes available for you to use. However, these are going to be your glass actual dishware. Like they're real. I thought, especially because we are changing hotels, and to preface this, we're actually changing hotels 3 times because prior to Disney we're staying in Naples, so we're gonna go through 3 hotels. And when we're making his oatmeal and breakfasts and stuff, we usually just make the formula on that and heat it up, but he likes to knock things over and all of that fun
and a
stuff.
lot of normal hotel rooms at Disney, you're not going to have
Don't
those
have
plates.
that, yeah.
You may have plastic utensils, but a limited amount of those plastic bowls and things like that. So do not bank on there being that stuff.
No, only if you're
We have these lovely plastic bowls and the little
they're from Walmart.
Plastic spoons. They're great. It's perfect for him.
And they're travel size. They're small. It's nothing more than you need for it. Yeah.
Very.
So, and I was hesitant on the bottle thing. He's not taking too many more bottles, but when we do mix up the formula and stuff, it is nice to have, which brings us to our next object. Another thing I got on Amazon. I got a
The amount of money this trip has already cost me and we haven't even left yet is absurd.
All right, listen. But now we have these things. So I got a bottle cleaning kit.
She did.
So it's it's a little compact cylinder type thing. And it has 3 different brushes. And then when you take it out, when you take the thing off and all the brushes out, it has little spikes sticking out, so it's like a drying rack.
It's the most unnecessary thing you've ever seen in your life. All I'm saying is it better get used.
It's gonna get used. I know it's gonna get used because I have to wash these things. So that's gonna get used. And I just thought the drying rack thing on the inside, it's dual purpose.
More to come in the future
was really
episode.
Nice. So I don't think it's excessive. So the next thing is a stroller. So we're bringing our own stroller. You do not have to bring your own stroller. Disney has stroller rentals that you can do. However, you cannot leave the parks with them to go on buses into other parks and stuff. So you have to get it and bring it back, entering and leaving the parks. Now, that thing does last all day. So when you pay for it, you just go to the next park and the next stroller thing and you get your stroller and it's fine. There's another place called Kingdom Strollers, which is in the Orlando airport if you are going via flying. And they have strollers you can rent if you are not bringing one, which is a good option. We have a pretty easy kind of scissor stroller, but kind of more than that. So we decided that we're going to take ours and we're just going to check it at the gate of the plane. So that's our biggest object that we're bringing.
I want to just say this with the strollers. There is nothing more painful, folks, than watching a poor father with this giant stroller that they have brought with them with all the bells and whistles.
They have multiple kids, so sometimes...
Not always, though.
No? Oh, I feel like I've always seen the double strollers side to side.
Sometimes those are the ones, but sometimes they're just these massive strollers that are like tanks. And the father is standing there trying to get on the bus. And as he is doing this, he's fumbling with it. Things are falling off, rolling across the ground.
Popcorn buckets
falling everywhere, popcorn strewn across the sidewalk. It ain't pretty, okay?
And then they're getting frustrated.
Yourself.
People are trying to walk around him and just literally just being rude, I think, and walking around
Just do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Small strollers that fold up nicely and easily.
Quickly.
The one that we have, very easy. You push 2 buttons, it drops down, it pops in. It's very skinny, and it's easy to store on a bus or on a monorail or anywhere where you're going.
These monstrosities of strollers that take up space for probably like 3 people on a bus. And if you are traveling via bus, they are, I don't know, I'm not saying probably, they're going to pack you in like sardines, especially if it's the end of the night and they're just trying to get all of these people back from the fireworks. We had a bus driver one time say, if you can see the floor, there's room for more. Like literally that's how tight they're going to pack you in. But then you have this family next to you who has this ginormous stroller, and it's just
moral of the story, nobody appreciates it. Keep a simple stroller. The scissor strollers are also lovely. I think the advantage, and we'll see how this one works, that we bring is that, as Rachel described, that it's a little more firm and durable than a scissor stroller is. So we'll see how that works. But you want yourself a nice, easy to fold up stroller that is small and compact, that you can pop in and out easily and move easily, and is not super heavy and not cumbersome, that anybody in the family can move around if you have to. Like, that is what you want. Strollers are a big deal in Disney. You do not want to bring a tank.
No. Even though you might think like, oh, I can fit 2 kids and 3 backpacks and this.
You'd be better off with 2 stroller scissors than one of those monstrosity 2 kid, 3 kid strollers. Yeah. You're better off with just 2 scissor strollers,
and both
frankly.
Parents or people pushing 2 kids. Like
right. And if you don't know what a scissor stroller is, just look it up. It's one of those really small.
I think of the ones that I had like when I was little, like for the baby dolls.
Yeah.
Like they literally just have a little like basket to sit in, like a piece of cloth, and you're in and out of it so much. It's it's just for them to rest their little legs. So for bedtime, I'm gonna transition from park to bed. So I am bringing our own crib sheets. Again, I think it's just a peace of mind for me, but I also think that if I were him, having a familiar smell would be nice, especially because he is so little. So I'm going to bring a few crib sheets. Again, we can wash them if anything were to happen. So I'm probably only going to bring 2. And he loves his sleep sack, so I cannot forget to bring the sleep sack. If I don't forget anything else, it's that. I also got these cool things that I should have mentioned before in the stroller. So along with the stroller, I got these things on Amazon. This should just be the name of the episode. So
Jeff Bezos's hero.
Yes.
Rachel.
So I got these like toy/drink strap things. So like you strap one side to the stroller, and then it's a long like bungee cord thing that you can put toys or a drink on the end of. Because if your kids are anything like our kids, he just like chucks things off the stroller and they just go missing, and you're just like, oh, you must have just thrown it somewhere. So at least being connected to this, if he throws it off, it's still connected to the stroller, so he won't necessarily lose those toys in his cups. So I actually thought that was a pretty smart buy. Do you agree?
Sure.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I think that he does throw everything on the ground, so anything that.
But again, it's particular to your kids. If they're older, you're obviously not going to need it.
Also, when he sits in a high chair, he does that all the time too at restaurants and stuff.
So we can do the same thing. Strap it to that and it won't fall on the floor, and then it's dirty, and
Also, the accessories of rain covers.
Yes, we did
with
get
your
that.
Stroller, key here, folks, right? Chances are, especially if you go over the summer, there's going to be a lot of rain. Those rain covers can make everybody's life better.
Yep.
That way the kid's not sitting in a wet
stroller.
stroller.
And we ended up getting one that was
dry.
A little combo pack of a net and like a mosquito net type thing and a rain thing. So you can find ones. I mean, we're not going to use the bug net thing in Disney, but it would come in handy if you're going, somewhere else that's woodsy. So, that goes along with our ponchos. If you don't want to pay an arm and a leg for ponchos, bring your own.
Bring your own ponchos.
The other thing I have for the stroller is a stroller fan and the charger that goes along with it. Mm-hmm. So I really don't know if this is actually going to be beneficial. And I say that with the confidence or lack of confidence because he just plays with it and pulls it down. And I don't know if it's going to stay all the time. So we'll see how it goes. But I did bring one, keep him cool, try to anyway. And we'll see how long the battery life lasts or if it's worth it even using it. Did I miss anything? I think that's all I have written down. But I don't know if there was anything extra that we had thought of.
Can't forget about the food.
Can't forget about the food.
Critical.
So it is critical, especially when you don't have a child eating full meals yet. And you have to think, I'm not bringing a blender with me. So I looked this up because I didn't even think about this, but we're traveling through an airport. Mm-hmm. So I looked on TSA. And it did say that food, breast milk, and formula, like pureed pouches and stuff, are considered medically necessary things. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't count towards the liquid, restrictions that would normally, apply to things. Mm-hmm. They do have its own separate process, which I'm interested to see, how that goes. So we'll let you know. But we are bringing... I wouldn't say all pureed stuff because he does eat some table food, but mostly definitely his cereal. He loves his cereal, his oatmeal. We'll get fruits and veggie packets and stuff. And what's nice is that we're able to stop at a supermarket before we get to Disney.
Right. So we're going to bring the stuff that we need on travel day with us.
Yeah, just the plain stuff.
And then because we are doing this thing that we normally would not do on a Disney trip. Normally we would go to Orlando International, get on the bus
and go right
from
to the
there
resort. Yeah.
And go right to the resort. We're doing this brief stay in the Everglades and in Naples. So because of that, we're renting a car and we're going to stop at a Walmart and stock up on all the food that we need for the rest of the week.
Right.
Normally that would not be the case.
Right.
However, if you're not doing that, there are great resources. I don't think that trying to pack all of this food would be successful in a carry-on or in
I have seen people do it in a checked bag. I'm
sure, but that's a lot of food.
It is, and it gets heavy.
There is a magical thing called Garden Grocer. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never heard of Garden Grocer, look them up. It is a company based in the Orlando area, and they focus on providing groceries and other essentials to people who are staying at any of the theme park resorts, whether that's Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, any of those other places. They provide the groceries direct to your hotel. So you go on, just like Amazon, you select what you want. I'm sure you could use Amazon.com. Don't suggest it because, Amazon has enough of everybody's money, already has enough of my money. Might as well give it to a different business. This Garden Grocer company, right, you go on, you select all the food that you want. This is especially helpful for things like water bottles or other things that are heavy, perishables, things that you don't want to carry but you may want. Your kid loves milk, right? You're not bringing milk on an airplane, not a gallon of it.
They have gallons of milk downstairs, but again, you're going to be paying so much more.
You're going to pay more at the hotel. So it's cheaper to go through Garden Grocer.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that is you tell them when you're arriving, they will deliver it to your Bell Services in your hotel, and Bell Services will usually, either you can take it yourself from Bell Services, or they will usually deliver it right to your room.
Yeah.
Last few times that we've done it, they come right up to the door. You tell them, hey, we're here. Can you drop that stuff off? Great. They come down. They drop it all off in the room. Yep. So if we did not have the rental car... They even put the perishable stuff
in the fridge for you.
Yeah. So if we did not have the rental car, that is definitely the route that we would have gone. We would order all of his baby food and his cereals and formula stuff and all that stuff prior to on Garden Grocer, so that way when we showed up at the hotel, we could just have it there.
Yep.
I think that's the most cost-effective and easy way to really effectively do that without having to bring a whole bunch of food with you. And frankly, some of the food you might not even be able to bring with you, right? So
so it depends.
Garden Grocer, that is my big tip of the day. Use it.
Yeah, it's definitely a hidden gem that that I think a lot of people don't know exist, and they kind of get stressed about bringing all the food and the snacks and all that stuff, and we're gonna spend way more money trying to buy all these snacks and stuff at the resort. And so there are ways to get around that, and that is one of them.
And we could, again, we say this a lot, don't we, of like more episodes to come on this, because there's a lot that we can talk about cost-effective ways to do food. And like resort refillable mugs, and they give away free water at Walt Disney World, folks. You don't have to buy a water bottle. There's ways to get free cups of water. So all of that and more coming in a future episode.
Yeah, no, definitely. And again with his food, I just think, we're lucky that we get to stop and we get to like stock up on things. So it definitely, I don't have to think about it right now, which is nice. Like to prepare for that, we can just go and pick up stuff, and we have family coming a little later, so if we did miss anything or we did need them to bring extra of whatever, they said they were willing to do that. So I think if we're right and I have packed everything he needs, we should be good.
should be good.
We should. I don't.
I will also mention the ear protection.
Yeah, we did bring.
We bought ear muff things for fireworks and stuff. We don't know how he's going to react to it.
Yeah, he doesn't keep on hats, and I don't think the compression of the headphone, like the noise canceling headphones, are going to go over well. But we did buy a pair of infant headphones, and he did wear them at a parade that we went to earlier in the summer, and he seemed okay with it because I think there was distractions for him to look at. So hopefully, again, with the fireworks and distractions, he'll be a little fine. But the fireworks aren't super, super loud, but because he is still so little, you don't want to traumatize him. It's supposed to be something fun, not scary. So we do have that. That's pretty much it as far as the big necessities. So I will be interested to do this again and see what went wrong, what went right, what we didn't actually even use if we don't use anything.
I think in a future time, we will do an episode of what to pack as an adult, which is very distinctive from what to pack for an infant. But we can definitely discuss that more in the future. For now, we are just excited to go on our Disney trip. We cannot wait, and I'm sorry, folks, but I think that is all the time that we have today, because now we have to get back into this.
We got to get back to packing.
So, with that being said...
No, would you rather?
No would you rather this week. We've talked a lot this week,
I know.
So I think that in the hope of trying to keep our episodes to close to 30 minutes, we will skip the Would You Rather, and we'll leave them with a mystery for this week of what would it have been if we did do a Would You Rather.
I don't know. Or just, how is their trip going to go?
How is our trip going to go? I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be magical,
it's going to be
though.
Amazing.
As always, folks, I want to remind you to please follow us on all of our social media accounts, including Instagram and Facebook. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to this podcast. That way you get all those notifications that let you know when we post a new podcast episode. And, of course, share all of this great information with your family and friends. Mm-hmm. With that being said...
What? Oh, sorry. Well, with that being said...
With that being said, remember, folks... It all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.